John had always found solace in the mountains. Their towering peaks and rugged trails called to him, a siren song of adventure and solitude. He relished the quiet of the wilderness, the sound of his breath mingling with the rustle of leaves, the crunch of gravel beneath his boots. This particular journey was to be no different, or so he thought. As he reached the summit, the sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. It was there, amidst the thrill of accomplishment, that John encountered a group of climbers. Among them was Anna, a striking woman with an infectious laugh. They exchanged pleasantries, and John felt a spark of connection as they chatted about their shared passion for climbing. However, the mood shifted when Anna revealed her predicament. She had unexpectedly started her menstrual cycle and was unprepared for it. As her friends settled in to enjoy the breathtaking view, Anna's face turned pale with urgency. John, ever the gentleman, offered to accompany her back down the mountain, sensing her discomfort and fear. They began their descent as dusk settled in, the fading light casting eerie shadows across the rocky path. Initially, their conversation flowed easily. Jokes and stories filled the air, laughter echoing through the trees. But as night fell, the atmosphere shifted. The vibrant world they had known transformed into an oppressive silence, the moon casting an unnatural glow on their surroundings. As they navigated the twisting trails, an unsettling feeling crept over John. He tried to brush it off, attributing it to the dimming light and the chill in the air. But Anna seemed uneasy, her eyes darting around as if sensing something lurking just beyond the reach of the flashlight beam. By 10 o'clock, the forest around them had taken on a life of its own. The sound of crunching leaves echoed unnaturally, almost as if someone or something was following them. John paused, heart racing, as he heard a soft giggle behind them, the sound drifting through the trees like a ghostly whisper. He glanced at Anna, whose expression mirrored his unease. "Did you hear that?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Probably just an animal," John replied, but the words felt hollow in his throat. They pressed on, the laughter echoing again, sending chills racing down John's spine. Every time they turned to look, they saw nothing but darkness, the trees standing sentinel, indifferent to their fear. As they trudged forward, John couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The shadows around them seemed to shift and swirl, playing tricks on his mind. After a while, they stopped to rest, the weight of their fear settling heavily on their shoulders. They leaned against the cool bark of a tree, gasping for breath, trying to calm their racing hearts. It was then that they heard the laughter again, but this time it was accompanied by the unmistakable sound of footsteps, slow, deliberate, and closing in on them. "John, I don't like this. We need to go," Anna urged, her grip tightening on his arm. Before he could respond, shadows danced around them, and in the periphery of his vision he caught sight of something, a figure with long hair, peering at them from behind the trees. John's stomach twisted as he turned his head to get a better look, but it vanished before he could focus. Then, out of nowhere, a voice floated through the night, clear and taunting. "Why are you here?" it echoed, sending shivers down their spines. Anna pressed against John, her fear palpable. He looked around, heart pounding, desperate to confront whatever haunted them. "It's just the wind," he lied, though he felt the truth slipping away like the fading daylight. Pushing the fear aside, John suggested they continue moving. But as they walked, the darkness thickened around them. Strange shapes flickered at the edge of their flashlight beam, and the whispers grew louder, almost mocking. "Anna, can you keep up?" John asked, trying to maintain a semblance of control over the situation. I'm trying," she gasped, her breath hitching with every step. They took a moment to catch their breath, but the silence that followed felt suffocating, filled with unspoken dread. Suddenly, laughter erupted again, this time from directly in front of them. Both froze, eyes wide. The sound was unmistakably feminine, echoing through the trees like a cruel taunt. "Do you see that?" Anna whispered, pointing toward the darkness. John squinted, heart racing. There it was again, a fleeting glimpse of a figure with long hair, vanishing into the thicket. "We need to go," John insisted, urgency overtaking him. But as they turned to leave, a chilling presence enveloped them, a sensation of being watched that pierced through the night air. They continued their descent, the tension thickening with each step. The shadows seemed to come alive, swirling around them, and John could feel Anna's panic rising. They paused again, panting, the fear palpable. As they rested, the laughter returned, more sinister this time. It echoed through the trees, and John's stomach churned as they spotted eyes, many eyes watching them from the darkness. Shapes began to materialize, an old woman hunched over, her face twisted in a grotesque smile, and a child with hollow eyes staring at them from behind a gnarled tree. "John!" Anna shrieked, and he felt her grip tighten painfully around his wrist. He turned, feeling a rush of adrenaline. "We need to get out of here!" He stood up, scanning the trees, and without thinking, he grabbed a hefty rock, intending to throw it at the next ghostly figure that dared to approach. But as he lifted the stone, his heart sank. It wasn't a rock at all, it was a head. A shattered face smiled back at him, bloodied and distorted. A scream tore from John's throat, and he dropped the head, stumbling backward in horror. Anna's scream mingled with his, and they both turned to run, terror propelling them forward. The forest closed in around them, branches clawing at their clothes, roots snaring at their feet. They sprinted down the trail, the shadows weaving and shifting like a dark tide, pursuing them relentlessly. The laughter intensified, echoing around them, a chorus of derision that filled the night air. "Keep going!" John shouted, though he could hardly hear himself over the cacophony. He glanced back, and for a brief moment he thought he saw a figure in the moonlight, a woman, her hair flowing like a veil of darkness, beckoning them closer. "Run!" Anna screamed, and he obeyed, pushing forward, the need to escape overwhelming everything else. They finally reached a clearing, the dawn's light breaking the horizon, but it did little to quell their fear. He glanced back at Anna, her face pale and drawn. Her eyes darted around frantically, searching the darkness. He knew she felt it too, the oppressive presence that clung to them like a shroud dot. They were prey, hunted by something unseen, something malevolent. They stumbled into a rest area used by climbers, their hearts racing, lungs burning from exertion. John found a sense of safety in the familiar sight of tents and gear scattered about. He slumped against a tree, trying to catch his breath. Anna was visibly shaken, her face pale as she leaned against him. "John, what was that?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know," he admitted, still reeling from the night's horrors. "But we're safe now. We'll figure it out." As dawn broke, they spotted two climbers waking up to prepare for their ascent. John approached them, trying to regain his composure. "Hey, did you see anyone else on the trail?" They shook their heads, glancing at him with confusion. "Just you two. Why?" "I was with a woman. I was carrying her down," he said, but doubt gnawed at him. The climbers exchanged a glance. "We only saw you with a piece of wood." John's heart dropped. He rushed back to the tent, and as he flung the flap open, dread washed over him. The space was empty. Only a gnarled piece of wood lay where Anna had been resting. Panic surged through John, his body trembling. "Anna!" he called out, voice cracking as he searched frantically around the campsite. "Anna, where are you?" His mind raced, questions swirling. Had it all been a figment of his imagination, the laughter, the eyes, the horror? He stumbled out of the tent, trying to make sense of it all. The two climbers watched him, eyes wide with concern. "Are you okay? You need to sit down," one of them urged. But John was beyond reason, lost in a nightmare. "I was with her. I talked to her. We laughed together." "John, there's no one else here," the other climber said, voice steady. "It's just you." He felt himself teetering on the edge of sanity. "No, I was with Anna." He staggered away, gripping his head as he tried to process the terrifying realization. As John navigated the familiar trail, the sunlight transformed the once menacing forest into a picturesque scene. Yet he could not shake the dread that clung to him like a shadow. Every rustle of leaves sent him into a panic, and the slightest sound echoed in his mind, reminding him of the horrors he had faced. He paused momentarily, leaning against a tree to catch his breath. But a flash of movement caught his eye, a fleeting glimpse of long hair disappearing behind the trunk. "Anna?" he called out, his voice cracking. But only silence responded. The memories of laughter and warmth were quickly replaced by the chilling embrace of fear. He felt like a ghost, forever haunted by the night, unable to escape the malevolent presence that lingered. watching him from the shadows. With each step he took, he fought to convince himself that he would soon be free of this nightmare. And after that, John arrived at the bottom of the mountain. He was happy because he had gone through that horror situation. But on the other hand, he was still thinking about Anna. John rested for a while before continuing his way home. While John was resting, he saw several climbers who were just about to climb up, and he felt he had seen some of these climbers. After he looked again, it turned out to be true. Some of the climbers were Anna's friends whom he met at the top. And even more surprising, John saw Anna with them, and they were just about to climb.